Oh, good afternoon, good evening. Fantastic to see everyone. 감사합니다. I think it's very fitting to be in an event center that is all about momentous occasions. We may not be getting married this evening. Well, maybe. Maybe there'll be a surprise arranged marriage that we put together. But life is made up of special moments, isn't it? And we are on the doorstep of an extremely special time in industry. I think it'll be one of those periods of time that we all look back on 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, and we think, you know, I remember I was at this wedding venue in Seoul in 2022, and we talked about the special moment that we are in. I think we're going to reflect back, and we're going to think, I remember when we agreed as industry automation leaders that there's a really special set of chapters in front of us. Think about that. We were having a conversation earlier today. Do you remember that movie, The Matrix? The original movie, The Matrix, it came out in 1999. That movie is about artificial intelligence. That movie is about machine learning. That movie is about the metaverse. That movie is about human and machine partnerships to do more. There were elements of that movie that actually we are seeing in real life today. A lot of foresight. I'll tell a little bit more about that. But let me expand a little bit around what Mihir was talking about. We are in a very interesting moment of time from a business standpoint. There is a lot of pressure around how do we help reduce operating expenditures? How do we help maintain a high level of productivity? How do we help navigate through in the midst of a global labor shortage with supply chain challenges? How do we think about doing as much or more with the same or less? The reality of this situation is these are difficult times to navigate through for everyone, for your organizations, for all of us in this room as automation leaders. But it presents one of the most unique moments in your career and in your lifetime that I think you will ever see. Together, we represent a set of solutions and business outcomes that are meaningful for how to address these headwinds of industry. Now, things seem to be changing pretty quickly. We commissioned a study, and earlier this year, the feedback from thousands of customers globally said, you know, our priorities are changing very, very rapidly. Going into this year, most organizations were talking about and thinking about digital transformation as quickly as we possibly can. They're thinking about reimagining their business around productivity improvements, thinking about rolling out software as quickly as possible, thinking about delivering higher value work, and then thinking about cost reduction. And all of a sudden, cost reduction, how do I do it with the same or fewer, has become number one. And it looks like it might be that way for a little bit of time. That's a big change because the last few years, it has been the same response on the top three, but this year, it changed. The top three pieces of feedback that is on your mind is find a way to reduce or maintain a level of operational efficiency on the cost side. Find a way to keep my business running and do it for the same or a lower level of cost. And please find a way for me to help bring joy to my employees from an employee experience standpoint, because I'm worried about the type of experience they're having on a daily, weekly, monthly, and annual basis. Can you help me with that? So I want to share some insights around what we observe in different conversations across the region and across the globe. The first is there's been a fairly big shift from historically where most of the automation has occurred in the back office environments, HR, finance, accounting. The last couple of years, that is starting to shift fairly aggressively towards front office. Can some of the same automation practices provide benefit to the people that are customer-facing, such as my sales organization, my marketing organization, maybe my contact center, or my customer success or customer support personnel? The answer is absolutely. But it does come with an increased level of risk and challenge and complexity. Automation leaders, like the companies and people in this room, start thinking about how do I scale to hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of employees to benefit from automation? Is there a way for me to get more developers into this automation journey? Can I establish a citizen development program that has the right level of governance so that nobody does anything to hurt the business? The answer is yes. Now, what most organizations are thinking about these days is how do I leverage new artificial intelligence, machine learning technologies into end-to-end, highly complex, intelligent automations or hyper-automation environments. These are processes that have human in the loop. These are highly complex and highly expensive processes. But if I can get them right, then I can help with the end-user customer experience, I can help with the employee experience, I can help with bottom-line productivity, and I can help de-risk my business. But they're not for everybody. They require automation subject matter experts like yourselves and your very top developers within your organizations to do so. Now, all of that is really underpinned by, for most, a vision to get all of the environment onto the cloud. So, Mihir, I appreciate you sharing the update around how we're doing around cloud automation. It's very forward-thinking, and I think that as we go further and further towards the cloud in Korea, we'll be ready to go. I'd like to expand on this point that Mihir mentioned around a automation-first mindset for organizations. What organizations like yourselves have started to realize is this is not just about the back office, the COE. This is not just about the IT organization. This is not just about professional developers. This does mean that there must be a role for the business users to play from a citizen development standpoint. And ultimately, for massive scale, shouldn't there be the ease of a push of a button for automation consumers on the far right-hand side that maybe don't even realize it, but they're participating with automation because you've done all the hard work in the background already for them? Wouldn't it be cool if I go back to that example of The Matrix? Maybe not everybody in this room has actually watched that movie, I realize, as I'm looking out. There's a scene in this movie where the two main characters, they're trapped in a room, and the bad guys are trying to bust through the door, and they can see out the glass there's a helicopter, and they're in a high-rise tower. And one character looks at the other one. Keanu Reeves looks at the other character and says, oh my God, we're in a pinch. We're dead. We're not going to make it. And she says, don't worry. We're going to take that helicopter and fly out of here. And he says, do you even know how to fly a helicopter? And she says, not yet. Okay, I do now. Let's go. And they get in the helicopter and they fly away safely. Now, at the time when you watch that scene in 1999, you think, that's completely out of reach, but that would be amazing if I could automate learning. That is machine learning. That is machine learning at an extremely rapid pace, and we are in the midst of that type of moment. Now, if we're going to find a way for all of the stakeholders, from the back office, from the middle layer, and out to the consumers of automation, we need a way to capture all the great ideas across an organization. There's a lot of great ideas that are out there. We need a way to capture those to help you prioritize which ones provide the best benefit from a value standpoint or return on investment. We need to help make sure that there is a rules-based and roles-based level of governance. So we just announced the rollout of this technology called COE Manager. I'm going to ask Juanil to spend a little bit more time explaining the technology, but this is a way to bring your organization, your automation success team, around a common set of outcomes. We're already seeing a rapid adoption of citizen development. We have some customers here in Korea that already have over 800 citizen developers. They are delivering more and more process automation and making life easier every single week. In fact, last year, one of our customers, the citizen development team, delivered 70% of the processes that were automated. It's working. But you have to think about governance on the front end. You have to think about an enablement strategy. So we're spending a lot of time at Automation Anywhere Korea thinking about enablement strategies and how to make sure that you maintain a level of governance so that you can scale. Mihir talked a little bit about the concept of co-pilot. When I was talking about that example from the Matrix, you push the button and now I can fly a helicopter. That'd be pretty cool, right? That's what this is. We're trying to give a level of experience for all of the potential consumers of automation on the right-hand side of that continuum. We're trying to give them that level of experience. Imagine if it is that easy to automate a process for somebody within your sales organization, for somebody within your core IT or extended or remote edge IT organization. Imagine within your contact center. That's what we're focused on doing with this concept of co-pilot. Now, this is complex stuff. It's not easy. It should look really easy and very easy to consume. But what actually is happening on the back end is we have to go assess what's the right role of the bot, how much human in the loop decision automation can occur, and then ultimately you have to have a set of APIs that you are constantly working on behind the scenes to make sure that these end-to-end automations can be brought to life and that they can provide that very easy-to-consume experience for the folks that are the consumers of automation. So we spend a lot of our time focused on building joint solutions like that and ongoing integration with all the different software applications there are in this world. That's hard stuff, but that's the area where we help the most within Automation Anywhere. Add new enhancements to the platform and make sure that the integration on the back end with all these different applications that you probably have deployed within your environment along with your custom tailored applications, how do we make all of that work well together? I'd like to give you a little bit of a preview on something that's coming that will also support this vision. So we announced at the event in New York just 2 months ago, we announced this new technology. It's called Process Composer. What is that? Process Composer. Now, when you're thinking about an end-to-end automation that has human in the loop, that has some back office applications and has some front office applications, wouldn't it be cool if that technology is built around drag and drop, that I can include different forms, that it has built-in APIs? Wouldn't it be cool if that could be a low-code, no-code experience that has governance built in? Would that help you accelerate your hyperautomation strategy or your intelligent automation complex processes to go look at to deliver value? That's what we're working on. Now, this did GA in other regions already. So I know it's not very far from on our horizon here in Korea, so it is coming soon. I want to share a little bit of insights around Mars. It's a very interesting story. This customer has not been they have not been a customer partner of ours for very long, just a couple of years. But they have really embraced this automation-first approach. They have tried to build their citizen development program and get out to functional departments faster than just about almost any customer we've ever worked with. The outcome is they have identified and freed up about 500,000 hours just in their first couple of years of working with Automation Anywhere with this platform. So it works. It works. But we have to think big. We have to think about what's the ideal business, operational, and financial outcome that you would like to see and reverse engineer our strategy to getting there. Now, 500,000 hours, what am I going to do with all that time? Probably the number one question that we get across Korea and Japan and down in Southeast Asia and down in Australia is, well, if I give you all this time back, I don't want to remove people from different roles. So what do we do with that? If 30% of work can be automated and we free up this meaningful amount of time together, well, what do we do with all of that? Now, I know that a very hot subject for all of us on this earth is really, what is your ESG strategy? What are your ESG KPIs? How do you communicate your progress and your value out to your stakeholders on an ongoing basis? So I'm going to share this with you. If we can help together free up time for different resources, does that take the pressure off some of the challenges that you're having around staffing? Of course it does. If we can help remove the mundane tasks that are so boring for people, does that not help your employees find more joy in how they spend their time? Does that not contribute to their well-being? Of course it does. If ultimately this can result in a better customer experience, your retention rates will be dynamite. Ultimately, your social metrics that you communicate to the marketplace and to your stakeholders are fantastic. Are there ways for us to help you continually optimize your value chain? Absolutely. The obvious one that we all think about in automation is, well, it'd be great to go paperless, especially in Korea, one of the most paper-intensive countries on the planet. It'd be really good if we could continue to focus around that. And finally, as you're communicating governance from a corporate standpoint, improving the accuracy and automating the level of reporting that you give out to your stakeholders becomes an area that a lot of people want to talk about. We call this responsible automation. So maybe the best way to free up time is to invest as much time as possible into each of these ESG initiatives that you may have. With that, I just want to say thank you very much for your partnership with our organization and with our partners. We are in the midst of a very special moment. Our new journey starts now. 감사합니다.